it is really important when we think about the irrational. Irrational means it cannot be written as a fraction. 2 pi, negative pi plus 1, negative pi minus 1, negative square root 18, not a perfect square. All your non-perfect squares are going to be irrational, right? So last year you had to memorize those perfect squares, and you guys did repeating decimals, converting them into fractions. I know I taught it in pre-algebra. So, negative pi over 2, square root of 3, negative pi minus 17. If you have negative pi plus pi, that's 0. That's a whole number. If you have pi divided by pi, that's 1. And someone said, oh, but you got 2 pi's there, so it has to be irrational because the pi is part of it. No. 7 divided by 7 is 1. Pi divided by pi is 1. Okay? So as we are looking at those. So if you know in your homework you kind of didn't get everything, I'm going to have you put those all back in the baggies. You should have found, from your group, you should have found that your rational, that includes all those integers and whole numbers. But integers could have been, if I was looking at the integers, Nick, quiet, could have been the square root, the negative square root of 49, right? That is a negative 7, right? So when we're looking at those, you're going to be asked on your quiz to tell what set the group of numbers are in, okay? Now, on Friday, we were doing this one. I asked you to put back here, part B, in miles per hour, miles per minute. So we had the 880 and the 88 besides that. So this was part B that we saw. We went through and did part B, we did part C, got those answers. You were to, yes, have finished the back. Most of you got this one with the 3 minutes. You kind of struggled a little. Then you came up with a ratio. The ratio could have been from any of those different groups. It could have been back here using the miles per hour. It could have been using the feet per minute. It could have been using the distance here, 1,300 feet to 1,300, to 13,000 to the 1,300. You could have used any of those to come up with your ratio, okay? So those of you that said, yeah, I just didn't do that, all of those, and then they just ask you to give that ratio. Then part F says, okay, you are 5,960 feet above the ground. What is the horizontal distance? How many minutes? This is which distance? Is it diagonal or vertical? Vertical. This is the vertical. So if you kind of got mixed up, this was the vertical. It's now 5,000, right? That's the vertical. So you're already kind of like over here. You're 5,000. This was 10,000, right? The vertical is now at 5,000. And then it says, well, what's the horizontal? Well, you're going to figure this out, right? You guys can do this. It might take you some work, and some people struggle with it. I agree. But you need to take a look at this. We want to look at your homework, and you put yours back under the document camera. I think I got to turn it on first. So as we look, I just want to show on number, was it 11 or 9?
9.
So as I look at number 9, there you go. And then you can sit down. You can take your book with you. So you want to figure out where you're starting. Now, he said he started with 120 servings. Does that make sense? 120 was what they asked us, and they wanted to know how many cans. To me, I like putting the word servings right next to it because it made more sense. Servings was 8 ounce. Each person gets an 8 ounce glass. Okay? You wouldn't have to. They also told us that the 12 ounce can of lemonade made 64, and 1 can is 12 ounces. Do you have to have both of these? Could you do it with just one? When I did mine, I said, but they give you this 12 ounce, because what's 12 divided by 12 here? That's simply just 1, right? So you could have made it a simpler problem when you look at that. You didn't have to. I saw a lot of people that did it this way. I saw some people didn't have anything like this. They just had 15 cans. 4-point question, you got 1. You got 1 out of 4. If you just give me the 14 and you go, I did it in my head and I did the multiplication. I need to see the units. So when I'm looking at yours, this is what I definitely need to see. Those of you that are like, oh, I can just do this. No. So I showed in your notes, here's some of those. We're going to go right to your homework, though. We're going to look at that homework. This is in your notes of converting like a 50-yard dash or the speed of light in centimeters per second to miles per hour. You have to show all of these multiplying so that you can cancel the unit yards with yards, so that I can cancel the seconds with seconds and minutes with minutes. So my answer is left with the units, miles, and hours. And if you don't leave all of that and do 50 times 60 times 60, divided by 5.8 times 1,760 to get your answer here, that is the work that I need to see when we are looking at this. Not going to let me move that. So if I am looking at your answer, that's what we are multiplying to get these unit conversions, okay? In your homework, in the one that we were just showing, number 9, if I was looking at number 9, and I will look at a couple others, but I will not do 1, 3, 5, because really, you got to make an attempt at those. So I started this one, and I said, okay, I know 120 servings. And if I'm going servings, I know that 1 can was equal to 64 ounces. And the other thing I knew is that 8 ounces was a serving. So 8 ounces is 1 serving. Those are telling me my units that I'm multiplying by. 1 serving is to 8 ounces. My units would now cancel. I am then looking at 1 can is 64 ounces. Can I put the 64 ounces on top? Does it make sense? No, because my answer says how many cans, right? That's the question, how many cans? So my answer has to be cans. That means I need the unit cans to be in the numerator, and in this case I need ounces down here. And I know that 1 can is 64 ounces. Sit up, please. Especially if you didn't have this done, you're writing this down. So I now have canceled off my units, and that's how we got the 15. Now, there was quite a few people that did it, and they showed it like we did under the document camera, and that works, okay? If you are starting off with, which other one do you want me to take a look at? Number 11, the answer, the mistake was they didn't multiply by this 4. But if we are looking at 3, 5, 7, or 9, or 3, 5, 7, which other one should I look at? Someone wrote them all down. I should look at one more before we go on. You guys are good at following? Yeah. 7. So 7 says 1 gallon of gas has 15 miles in how many dollars per day? And they give us some information on this. And so that is kind of what we want to use. So if we are starting off with number 7, does anyone want to show their number 7 under the document camera for me? Number 7. I had quite a few of you that... There, you can take it back. Okay. So, you're starting off with what you know. 1 gallon for 15 miles, right? Our answer has to be in dollars per day. That means at the end I need the word dollars and I need day. So what did we know? We knew that if we are looking at this, that over here, that 1 gallon was 310. So the gallons and gallons had to be kitty corner from each other so that cancel. I'm putting the $3.10. My answer right now is in dollars per mile. I don't want an answer in dollars per mile. The question says how many dollars per day. So what we know, the other thing, was that 1 hour we traveled 55 miles, and we're driving 1 day for 10 hours. So I'm getting rid of my miles to the hour, 55 miles in an hour, and we drove 10 hours in a day. As you set these up, it is not going to be clear which one goes where. You have to figure it out so that your answer will come out and that you will have, as you look at these, so that you will have the units correct. So turn in your notes to page, I believe it was, I want to say like page 7 or 8?
6 and 10.
Turn to page 11. Page 11. Okay, this is page 11 in your notes. An athlete runs 100 feet in 3.1 seconds. What is the speed? Now, I might give you something like this on the quiz, where you have to fill these in. Okay? I might not have anything and you have to fill it in. So, let's do this one together. We should have 100 feet in 3.1 seconds. And the first question you need to think about is, do we want to eliminate if we look at this, do you want to eliminate the feet or the seconds? And our answer is supposed to be in miles per hour. Okay? Miles per hour. Zach, which one do you want to eliminate first? Time or the distance? Distance. So I got to go feet. I need feet converted to miles, which means I need to put my unit feet in the denominator and I need to put miles in the numerator. 1 mile is to 5,280 feet. As I look at this right now, I can currently cross off my units feet. Okay? My answer now has miles per second. Emily, I need to change it first probably to minutes. So where should I put the unit seconds? Should I put it in the numerator or denominator? So if I put seconds down here and minutes, will my units cancel? No. So I have to put, so that my units will cancel seconds to minutes. 1 minute is to 60 seconds. My units have now canceled. But my answer is not in miles per hour, it's in miles per minute. So my last step when I am doing this one is going to be to do what, Natalie? Do you see that on the top I have miles already? But in the bottom I have minutes. And I don't want minutes in my answer, I want hours.
I want minutes at the top and hours at the bottom.
Minutes to hours. 1 hour is to 60. Take those calculators out and take 100 times 60 times 60. Divided by 3.1 times 5,280. If you don't have a calculator, there's ones in the front. Go grab one now. You need it to finish the rest of this. There, go.
Then do you divide it?
You do, yeah, you multiply everything on top, divided by everything in the denominator. Like around 22. 100 times 60 times 60, right? Then you're dividing it by 3.1 and 5,280, right? About 22, 21 something. Okay? And I don't care if you multiply everything on top first, 100 times the 60 times the 60, and then you go, okay, now I'm going to hit divide by, and then I'm going to take 3.1 times the 5,280. You're just taking everything in the numerator and dividing it by your denominator, which in this case came out to be about 22, because it says round to the nearest, right? So 21 point something, we're going to round it to 22. Okay, it is very fast. miles per gallon to kilometers per liter. Any other country besides the United States uses metric. These are their conversions. We need to get our answer in kilometers per liter. It says on page 18 in your book is where there's other conversions. How do we start it? 30 miles per 1 gallon. I'm going to look at the conversions down below. 1 mile is to kilometers, quarts to gallons, and quarts to liters. I need kilometers per liter. As you start the problem, Cassandra, do you want to change miles to kilometers first, or do you want to go gallons to liters? Miles to kilometers. So I am going to use this conversion. If I'm using that, Cassandra, what do I want in the numerator? I want the kilometers. I want miles down here. It's 1 mile is to 1.61. Okay? Right now, I have my answer in the right unit in the numerator. Okay? So now, as I'm looking at that, Samuel, what are we going to multiply next to get rid of my gallons? I got to go 4 quarts to a gallon. I got to use this one next, right? Where do you want to put, what do you want to put what unit where? So gallons to quarts, right? 1 gallon is to 4. Because now this unit gallons cancels with this unit gallons, right? And right now I have kilometers per quart, but I don't want that. I want it per liter. So I'm finishing the problem. And as I finish it, what am I looking at, Hale? Putting what? As I finish this problem.
Quarts above liters.
Quarts to liters. And I'm putting 1 quart is to 0.946. And I'm multiplying on my calculator 30 times 1.61, and I'm getting that answer. Okay? And then I might take 4 times 0.0946, and then I'm going to divide that. Please do that right now on your calculator. It's less than 15, right? We should have had 12 kilometers per liter. So this might be important if I'm traveling to Australia or Canada or Europe someplace, right? How much I'm getting per liter. Correct. Okay. This will be attached to the video, will be attached to the daily planner. You might not need to watch all this. You might need to do part of this. Right now, let's read this last one in your notes, and then we'll look at what you have to do in your homework. So, suppose you are a gold miner back in California, 1849. You have your tools in one hand, and you're carrying this free hand, you're carrying a 4-liter bucket full of gold dust. The density of the gold dust is 19.3 grams per centimeter cubed. Using unit analysis, determine if the bucket is too heavy. And I give you a couple other conversions. 1 pound is approximately 454 grams, and 1,000 cubic centimeters is 1 liter. I want you to try and start this right now, and then we're going to work through it. Okay? What do I have to start with? Check with your shoulder partner and see if you agree, right? Jane, you're going to check with the people in front of you. Okay? Start with something. Anyone have an idea? I want to raise a hand and tell them to start. So quiz tomorrow. This is your problem. What do you start with? Sam, you think you got it? Start with what? 4 liters. Can you put it over 1? Sure. 4 liters over 1. Could you just put 4 liters? Yes. What do I want to change liters to first? Because in order to find this answer, if it's too heavy, what kind of answer do you need? What do we usually lift? We count it in what? In pounds, right? So this answer has to be in pounds. Lucas, what are you going to go with?
Put the 1 liter on the bottom.
Yep, 1 liter on the bottom.
And put the 1,000 cubic centimeters on top.
So we've used this conversion. What do I have to use next, Maria? I got 2 more underlined. 19.3 grams per centimeter cubed. How am I going to write it? What am I putting where? Centimeters cubed on the bottom. They don't have a number with it. That's really 1, right? This is 19.3 grams per 1 cubic centimeter. So I have the 19.3 in my numerator. Okay, so I don't have liters anymore. I no longer have centimeters cubed, I mean grams. And now I'm going to do that last conversion. Write that down. And then use your calculator. Write down that last one and then use your calculator. It amazes me that some of you still don't have the 4 liters down in most of this, but. Heavy bucket. Not me personally. Plus, I have my tools in my other hand, right?
Well, it's gold dust. See, that's gold dust. It's dust.
But gold has a density of 19.3 when you start talking about heaviness of it.
You must be a strong man to do that.
So can you list them? Did you get about 170?
Yeah.
I personally am not lifting 170 in one arm with all my tools in another. I don't care how I lift that, and I would like to, I'm not guessing that most of you are not either, right? Okay? So, your homework. If you look at 4B, okay? In 4B, this is more notes on how to do unit conversions, okay? You don't have to do anything with this page. This is kind of like more notes, like places for you to look to prepare. So those of you that say, hey, I just didn't do it because I didn't get it. Nope, here's another spot. You could have gone to unit conversion on, go to Khan Academy, go to YouTube, you're going to find it. What I am looking for in your homework is that from 1 to 10, you pick 4. Pick 4 in 1 to 10. Okay? I don't care if you do the first 4, I don't care if you jump rope. Someone said, what if we do them all? It's probably good practice, right? I mean, the quiz is tomorrow. You're looking to get 100%. Answers are in the back. So when you have answers in the back, you should be checking. There's a lot of you that did not check those matrices. You put undefined for some. You didn't put the right. No, turn to the back. The answers are there, right? And make sure you correct. Then you are going to do 13 and 14 and 15 and 16. Now, the ones 13, 14, 15, 16, that's going to be more like some of the ones you'll see on your quiz. Where I don't give you a lot of information, I just kind of give you, hey, here's this, and change it, right? I will go over and help you in the morning. You're here at 8. If you want to stay till 4 tonight, oh, I have practice, I have this, I can write you a pass. I'm leaving by 4 o'clock, okay? But if you know you can't come in the morning because tomorrow's a big music day, make sure you make plans. Get your work done. You might need to cut back on some of your extracurricular if you're not able to get your work done. I don't know. Come and see me. I will help you out.
I will.
Okay? Have a good day.